Hi guys, I'm Shmee. Hello and welcome back to the channel where you join me on a lovely afternoon. Today, back at Topaz Detailing, where it is time to collect my now completed AMG GT Black Series in Solarbeam with full PPF, and that means to take it back to the Shmuseum for the first time, to have the new yellow car joining the garage and crucially sitting side by side with the Viola Bast Huracan STO. Two cars I cannot wait to see side by side very shortly. Now, as always, there are some pretty special cars around here at Topaz, but the GT Black Series is inside. It's having the final completed touches right now before we can head on out for the drive back over to the Shmuseum, plus a few other things to talk about today as well. I said that there are some pretty nice cars around Topaz at the moment, and I was not joking, including my friend Rana 6556's Aventador SVJ 63 Roadster, one of 63 in the satin black with the gold bronze painted accents all around, a car that I have actually filmed with before, something rather special lurking under the cover just alongside. Behind we have a blue Posse Ferrari F12 TDF. I have actually seen and filmed this car once before earlier in the year. We've got a 911R, one of 991, of course the 991.1 generation with the lightweight flywheel manual gearbox, very special car. And we have the Topaz GT2 RS MR, and it's an argument back and forth between the GT2 RS MR and the AMG GT Black Series, which is inside, as to which is the Nurburgring record holder, because arguably you could say that this holds the fastest lap time. Technically it does, but no car actually left the factory in this configuration. Porsche have acquired Manthey, and of course this is the full upgrade package, bigger, more aggressive wing, the wheel covers, and a host of other aero modifications to make it even faster. And well, the GT Black Series ran in less than ideal conditions as well. Anyway, I want to talk a bit today about the tyres, the Cup 2R tyres. There's something about those that fascinates me, but for the time being, we should probably head inside here at Topaz to go see how the GT Black Series is looking, getting the final touches before we can pull it outside. There's been a little bit of a shuffle around of cars, but I am now in front of the GT Black Series, ready to show you that in a second. Before we do though, in the corner is another F12 TDF. We've got a 599 SA Aperta. I've always been a big fan of those. A particularly lovely 812 GTS, hopefully one of those in the garage before too long. And then of course, we have this, the completed Solarbeam AMG GT Black Series, now with full Topaz paint protection film, looking truly stunning, ready to be taken outside. The light is quickly dropping, but we'll get it back to the Shmuseum to have this with the Huracan STO, and those two colour schemes are going to look ridiculous side by side. But basically, this has the full coverage PPF, every single part of the car, from the paintwork to the exposed carbon fibre, to even details like the headlights, have been protected ahead of this big adventure coming up in just a matter of days. Now, of course, it has significantly changed from the original graphite grey Magno to the Solarbeam yellow at Chartwell, the original launch colour of the C63 Black Series and the SLS Black Series, and the colour that I really wanted on this car from the very beginning, but that wasn't possible from the factory. There was no option to do paint to sample, only to choose from the 8 original colours, which is why I chose the graphite grey Magno, effectively the satin black, as a great base colour, but also then brought it here when it was brand new to protect the carbon fibre parts of PPF, to do some running in mileage. So we've got about 700 miles on the car now. A question I've seen a lot of people asking is about doing the paintwork and how long you have to leave it before you then do PPF. And the short answer is at least a couple of weeks, let's say 2 weeks. This has had about 3 to 4 weeks in total from the paint to then getting the PPF. You don't want to seal it in too soon or risk having some problems further down the line. But the guys have done a very, very speedy job to get this ready, to get it completely set ahead of this trip that I've got coming up, and literally everything is now completed. As I said, all of the different Solarbeam yellow panels have the clear protection film over the top of them, all of the exposed carbon fibre, all of the gloss black elements that you can see around down here, for example, as well, even the headlights so that they don't get chipped or damaged. The car does now have the badges reinstalled. And actually, an interesting thing about the badges is the positioning, because when the GT Black Series was originally launched, the V8 bi-turbo badges on the side actually sat about here, significantly lower, but all of the press cars and then now customer cars have the V8 bi-turbo badge much higher, which is just an odd one, so we were thinking about that a little bit. They've got the gloss black surrounds on the V8 emblem, which would have been bright red before Chartwell did the work to change those. And obviously around the rear of the car as well, we now have the AMG badge, the GT Black Series badge, and the Mercedes 3-pointed star in the bright chrome silver in the very center. The plates are back in place. And one thing, by the way, about the badges, these are all this titanium look, as you can see. We've got the chrome for the Mercedes badge front and rear. And this is something we've discussed a lot. And I wouldn't be surprised if, like on my GTR, GTR Pro and GTR Roadster, I end up darkening those, making them a dark chrome, because otherwise they just stand out and look a little bit odd. But that is very much an AMG thing that they do on all of the different models. So in addition to all of that, the car has been fully cleaned up, tidied up, prepared, wheels, brakes, interior, all of the different trim pieces, all of the different elements, engine bay, boot, you name it. This car is now in immaculate shape, ready very shortly to take it on outside and to, I guess, take it for the first drive in yellow, which is going to be quite the experience and something I'm really looking forward to, having been planning this for, like I said, a very, very long time. Of course, here, fully protected at the moment with seat covers, floor mat, and even the protection on the steering wheel. But 668 miles at the moment, soon to be about 1,000 or two more than that, which I'm looking forward to. I just love now having, you know, the yellow 9-speed or 9-stage AMG traction control toggle that matches now with the exterior and all of the other accents and details that just make this so infinitely awesome. It's a very, very special car. Now, I did say I wanted to talk about the tyres as well. The Cup 2 Rs that you have on here, the special ones for this car with the outline of the car and the AMG stripes on them as well, which is really quite a fun little detail. But what's interesting is how different these are to the ones on the 2 RS MR, which is quite hard, I guess, to really explain. They're just very different in terms of their depth of tread, we could say. Presumably this targeting more of the road homologation side. Anyway, we've got some other things to pick up here before we depart. We'll need to get this started, and then obviously we're going to head back to the Shmuseum. Out it emerges. Alas, no more sunshine, but very much the mustard yellow type look. Obviously this pearlescent multi-layer paint gives a completely different look under the evening light. I'm going to park the car for a second around the corner here alongside the 2 RS MR. Just take a look at these tyres quickly, because I really do find this fascinating. You don't get to see the differences in these kind of things right alongside one another on a very frequent basis. And obviously these are two cars that right now boast records between them, whichever way you look at it. This is where we literally have wings for days. Two of the biggest wings out there on production road cars. Probably the other two biggest wings are like the Huracan STO and the Senna, which this will be alongside very shortly. Anyway, I wanted to talk tyres. So I've actually got my torch light on at the moment on the camera, so you can see this, and the tread patterns in here. And specifically, this obviously is the effectively nearly slick part of the tyre. But if you have a look at the difference with the MR, this tread gap is significantly less deep than the one on the GT Black Series. So I'm fascinated to see how long these tyres will last me when we're on the road, because effectively these ones don't do you a whole lot of time at all. These are basically, the Cup 2 Rs are basically made to be track lap time tyres. So when you go out for a lap of the Nordschleife with this setup, you get your out lap and then you get one really fast lap, and then they're pretty much instantly going to be falling off. Whereas I think these probably have a little bit more in them, but I'm only expecting a couple of thousand miles, and there isn't actually currently another homologated tyre for the GT Black Series. Lots of people, lots of owners are talking about what to put on the car for slightly more road use and longevity, because of course in bad weather conditions you don't really want these on. But there's nothing yet that really works, because the rears are 335, which is so wide. You could potentially put some 325 Cup 2s on, but they might look a bit stretched and look a bit odd. Haven't seen anybody that's actually tried that yet. But yeah, some massive wings, some massive aero. In fact, let me come around to the front of the cars very quickly. It's quite cool to see what this looks like under the night light. Obviously later on, we'll see what it looks like under the Shmuseum's brighter lights as well. But what a cool pair of cars to be side by side here. Really special. It's time then. First drive in my now Solarbeam GT Black Series. Of course, we transported it down to Topaz with Tony, Turbo Transport, to get it all basically prepared without the risk of anything going wrong to this car. I need to line up some mirrors and things, just make sure I can see properly. Obviously, there are going to be so many miles with this car as we go ahead, but for now, let's carefully do this because it's dark and quite busy. and go for the short drive onwards from here. It is also quite fiddly in the AMGs with the bucket seats to reach for that. But let me pull out and round, and off we go. Oh, look at that sunset ahead. That is beautiful. Very on theme with Solarbeam. This colour, of course, gives you those different oranges and yellows and different shades depending how the light hits it. Oh, I love this already, just seeing the reflections off the bonnet. Obviously, early stages, bit of a dark drive, but we shall make our way back over to the Shmuseum, and then of course it's going to be time to have this with the STO. And I'm so excited about this because I've been thinking about it for such a long time. The Solarbeam yellow with the Viola Bast, two ludicrously bright paint colours. Two cars that I think are going to feature quite prominently on the channel in the upcoming period. And two cars that I'm very, very excited to be lucky enough to own, to be lucky enough to enjoy, and to be lucky enough to share with you as well, and what the experiences are going to be like. And this is going to do so many miles over the next, well, I don't know how long. Anyway, for now, let's get on the road properly and go get this back to base. The Bumblebee is here at the Shmuseum, the first bright yellow Shmeemobile in the current collection. The Lotus Emira will also be in Heffel yellow, although that's straight yellow as opposed to the multi-layer pearlescent yellow of this car. Now at the moment, most of the cars are undercover, so we don't have the full rainbow effect going on, but I can tell you this is the very first time ever that every colour of the rainbow is present in the Shmeemobiles collection at the same time, with the arrival of the STO and now with this, which just is blowing my mind looking at it. It is so cool, but what I do want to do is a little bit of a, reveal of some of the colours so that we get them all out. Maybe I'll uncover everything properly afterwards. These are just the temporary covers we're using while it's quite dusty in here. Long term, it won't be like that. That's quite interesting to see the colour of the Solarbeam up against the gold. It makes that look so much more gold when you see a bright yellow alongside. But this is, of course, the car that I'm most intrigued to see up next to. Every time, this just makes me giggle. That colour and that colour together are absolutely ludicrous. Completely and totally ludicrous, but literally we have red, purple, or pink I should say, sorry, blue, yellow, green, orange over there with the Focus. We've obviously got the purple here with the 675 LT. We've got the blue on the Aston GT8. This is one very colourful garage now. We'll do some shuffling around. We're going to pull that out, I think, to have the two latest editions sitting side by side for this one, because that's really what it's all about. But that's not all. The reason I'm walking back over towards the entrance very quickly is that we have picked up plenty of new products from Topaz, the full Topaz car care cleaning set, which we'll probably talk you more through on the Shmuseum channel, but we're going to build something here to have a proper corner for all of the cleaning equipment, supplies, everything that we need basically as part of that. All of the cloths all currently in the various boxes. For the minute though, let's get the STO moved. Time to pull the Lambo forwards then. That car is very, very loud in here. And these two cars, side by side, look at that. Look at that, oh my gosh. I don't know what, plum and lemon, I don't even know. Wow, that is a pairing and a half here. Well, that's pretty mad, but looking at the cars a little bit more closely is also fascinating, because obviously these are two current, very similar priced, track focused, but road legal supercars. Two cars that do a very similar task in equally dramatic ways with gigantic wings on the back. In fact, that is one of the craziest things to look at the back of them and just how ridiculous the aero is on these things. Obviously with nearly matching number plates, but one with a much better soundtrack than the other, but we're going to be working on that. When this car goes over to Germany in a week or so, it probably won't be returning with the same exhaust setup that it has currently, which is something that is very much needed. There's just a whole lot of colour going on here in the garage at the moment. In fact, it's become a little bit Skittles-like, but that was always the aim, that was the intention, and one of the reasons for choosing Viola Bast on the STO was what other car could wear a colour like this, a striking colour, and not only just wear it, but pull it off with such style. That's one of the crazy things with this. Now, up to this point, I've not driven the STO, I've not driven it at all, other than manoeuvring it in the garage, because it does not yet have PPF, and I do not want to risk any stone chips to all of this paintwork and have to deal with rectifying them in the future. Of course, in addition to PPF, it will also get all of the exterior yellow accents, which will be more a straight yellow as opposed to something metallic. We've chosen the colour that we're going to use for those initially. That will all be done, I guess, over the next week or maybe 2 weeks, something like that. We'll see exactly, and then it'll be time to use it. But really, I wanted to get this out on the roads, this with the C, with the G, with the SLS. So that's basically been the plan, to get this one ready as quickly as possible for this tour with a big group of friends, to go and have some fun and to take it over to Germany, where no doubt there'll be a good old stretch on the Autobahn. There will be some laps at the Nurburgring. There will be taking it home to the home of Mercedes-Benz, to the museum, to the home of AMG, and so much more, including hopefully putting together the whole family of Black Series. That's something I think we might be able to achieve during this trip as well. For now, this colour explosion that we have here at the Shmuseum is really quite breathtaking. It is quite extraordinary, and I don't really know what to make of it all at the moment. We will have to do a photo shoot lining up the colours in the appropriate order. The GT Black Series, however, is an epic machine. I'm going to be taking that back to base tonight instead of the Taycan, because I want to drive this a little bit more and make the most out of enjoying it. Obviously, as I said, there are going to be many more miles on this car in the not very distant future, as there will with the STO. I think these are really the two cars for this part of 2021, the two cars that we've been waiting to see a lot of on the channel. It's now time to get that properly underway. So a big thanks to Topaz as always. As I said, over on the Shmuseum channel, we'll be talking more about the products and what we're going to be setting up with all of that side of things very soon. We will need to have a lot of work as well now to get everything ready, including the missing car that we intend to take on this tour. We need to pick that up, so hopefully we're going to be able to get the issue with that fixed. And then it's time to get on the road with the GT Black Series, the SLS Black Series, the C63 Black Series, and whichever else seems appropriate at the time, and get this underway. For now though, thank you very much for watching. As always, guys, I appreciate your support an awful lot. Thank you for joining the journey with these two cars. Thank you for joining me today to see them parked up side by side. That's it for now though, and I'll see you again very soon. Cheers.